Former top economic advisor to President Trump, Gary Cohn, saying that Jamie Dimon would make a, quote, phenomenal president. Cohn's comments coming just days after J.P. Morgan Chase CEO said that he could beat President Trump in a head-to-head election and that he's smarter and tougher before walking those comments back. Here with me now to discuss editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller, Christopher Bedford. Ned Ryun is back with us as well. All right, Chris, he might very well make a great president, but you got to wonder, a lot of folks now lining up saying, hey, if President Trump can do it, I can. A lot of billionaires rather lining up saying, if he can do it, I can do it too.
I think there's a lot of people that think they could do it. Basically, anyone who's ever been elected to public office or anyone who's very wealthy now is thinking, hey, I could be president of the United States, and maybe they think they could do a better job than President Trump. But I would strongly suggest that someone like Jamie Dimon would not be able to tap into the same kind of energy that people like Trump and people like Senator Bernie Sanders were able to tap into. The discontent, the problems with Wall Street. And Jamie Dimon and his allies like Gary Cohn, these people represent Wall Street, and America is not really searching for a candidate like that. Hillary Clinton's ties to Wall Street really hurt her in the election.
You know, Ned, I got to tell you, before this election, I did not think it could happen. I thought about, John Kerry, very rich windsurfing. I thought about Mitt Romney. I didn't think that a wealthy person could make it. But President Trump, to Chris's point, he tapped into something. I'm not sure if it was eating McDonald's on a private jet, but whatever it was, he made people feel like, hey, I connect with this guy.
Yeah, no, exactly, Charles, because he actually understands what's going on in this country. That the American people, the American taxpayer, feels like it has been sold out by the bipartisan globalists. He gets it. He understands. We've made bad trade deals. We've sent our jobs overseas. We've stuck it to the middle class, to the working class on taxes, and then we're spending trillions overseas in these pursuits of trying to do nation building. Like, he gets it. And that's what I keep on telling people. I've been involved in politics for over 20 years now. And this guy showed some of the best instincts and was able to understand where the American people were really at in 2016. He beat 16 other Republicans. He beat Hillary Clinton. And the most important thing, Charles, it's one thing on the campaign trail to say you're going to do something. It's a completely different thing to go into office and actually have the guts to go and push against significant headwinds to actually implement your policies. And that's the other thing I would say. I don't think these guys like Jamie Dimon would actually have the guts to stand up and say, I don't care what pressure's coming at me. I know what the right thing is to do to champion the American taxpayer, and I'm going to do it. That's why Donald Trump is a very unique president.
Well, they also probably will be, probably believe in a lot of the things, the status quo, much more than President Trump has. But one thing we do see, Chris, is that this whole movement, anti-establishment movement, has gotten bigger. I mean, we've seen it election after election on both sides of the aisle. There's a massive, major rejection of the establishment, the elites, the wealthy, and people are going for grassroots candidates. And so I think that's something that's going to continue. And it's a message, by the way, I don't think either party paying attention to.
No, neither party's paying attention to it. If you saw Paul Ryan or other Republican leaders, they assumed that they had been elected or the Republicans had won again based on some of the ideas that they'd pushed and that President Trump was just an abnormality. The Democrats thought that just because they were able to put away Bernie Sanders, they'd gotten rid of it. And people, the wealthy and people in business, people in Wall Street, all over this country, in fact, should be really worried because I don't think that this balloon of pressure that's been building, this populist outrage and this dissatisfaction amongst America's workers and middle class is not gone down yet just because Trump's been president, and it's still dangerous and it's still growing.
I agree. Listen, I've had billionaires on the show. I've had a lot of classically trained economists, conservative economists. They won't listen. They don't care, and they actually brag about the profits they're making. They brag about and they're upset because more manufacturing of automobiles are going to be done in this country, and that means prices go up. But the American public doesn't see that. They see that they're really upset that their margins are going to be hit. And they say, make a choice, your margins versus me getting a job. Ned?
That's right. That's right. And this is two things, Charles. First of all, we want more American paychecks. We are willing to pay a little bit extra if more American jobs and paychecks come back to our shores. But the second thing I'm going to tell you is I don't think people have fully understood, Charles. Donald Trump is the first manifestation of a growing movement. He's not some exception to the rule or aberration. He is the first manifestation. This movement's not going away, as Chris said.
Right.
It is building. It is not going away. People are sick of being used and abused by a ruling class.